All right. All right. All right. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. Thank you for joining us. I'm Alyssa Maru with Mason Exhibitions Arlington. I'm really excited to have a workshop today with Sky Cubacub with the Rebirth Garments. We're making some fun things with your closet that's already in there, and some remixes of the originals. So I'm very excited and looking forward to doing that. This workshop is a part of an exhibition at the gallery called Disrupt and Resist, get the full name here, a love letter to the disability community on what showing up for each other can be. This exhibition features 7 disabled artists, and I will share my screen and have a little talk about um, a little invite of the show. Um, the exhibition is open from until March. I'm sorry, until November 11th. We're open from 12 to 5, Thursday through Friday. And I'll just take you through a little bit of a visual tour on the exhibition here, getting to our install shots. So can everyone, you guys can see the install shots?
Yes.
Okay, great, thank you. So we're located in Arlington, Virginia, and we featured seven artists who identify as disabled and neurodivergent. We have a lot of different opportunities to celebrate and discuss joy and justice and sexuality and possibly how aids that are provided for bodies fail them. So we have a lot of programming around a lot of these topics, and I'm really excited to for our next event after this, which is a jam-packed day of fun. We'll be featuring a loom weaving workshop with Arlington Weaves. We'll drop that in the chat in just a minute to have you guys register. And then following that event is going to be an event, a disability film festival. We'll be showing 3 films, and one of the artists that are featured in the film will be on site with the director and have some time for Q&A. So engage with us. We're on Instagram, we're on the websites. So we're at Mason Exhibitions on Instagram and masonexhibitions.org on the internet. So just real quick, introduce you to the exhibition, a small walkthrough of the show. This work on the windows is work by Jen White Johnson, who's a Baltimore-based artist, designer, and features work around her disability advocacy and her son as an image, as a longtime model Knox for her work. So this is her work here with the Radical Joy. I think I could slow this down. This is these benches are by Finnegan Shannon, and they are going to be in the gallery for the next 2 years. We have a long-term loan really providing accessibility in the physical space that we think is important and really hope to highlight ongoing throughout our next exhibitions. We have work here with the rubber canes by Alex Veloso, who really just shows that, like I mentioned before, that sometimes things that are built for aiding us still fail. So you're invited to come to the gallery and feel the tactility of their work and try to walk around with this cane. They also have a video here, installation of laborious movement. So let's come do that. We have a library in the gallery and a little book nooks, so come hang out with us, get a coffee, come hang out with us. Along this, if I can come, sorry, probably not fun for you to see. We have it on the a couple of sound installations by artist Andy Slater, who is identifies as blind and is through his verbal descriptions describing several paintings that don't exist. So it's just really an imaginative way through sound to possibly, you know, have other physical engagements for it. We have work by Indira Allegra, and they are a weaver, a story maker, performance artist, who really is literally weaving their body through the work of in photography for this piece, really infusing their body into their practice. And we have next we have Robert Andy Combs, who I really enjoy these pieces. There are 6 photos in the exhibition of this that really go through community and care and exchange and sexuality, and really honestly answer questions that I had as to like, you know, how are you having sex? You know, really, and it's really open and has been engaging. And I've learned so much for the opportunity to understand and know. And then lastly, we have artist Gwyneth Van Leeuwen, who uses objects that were kind of the crux of her disability. She was hit by a car, and so she uses these traffic device cones and molds her body around them, and it's a little bit of humor and love with these objects. And then in the gallery itself, we customize a piece where we prompt love letters to be dropped into the love letter cone box, and we ask you to engage with moments or thoughts or reflections of fear, of near misses, or any general comments in solidarity with the disability community. So we're super excited to have this exhibition on. This exhibition will travel to the Gillespie Gallery in the top of the year and expand. So we'll be having part 2, a lot more opportunities for engagement for this awesome topic and community engagement. And again, lastly, I'll just point through on our website the next events, which is our weaving demonstrations and our Disability Fun Festival on November 4. And with that, I will stop sharing and introduce Sky Cubacub from Rebirth Garments, who's going to lead us through an awesome day of engagement, of workshop and making. So thank you so much for hanging out with us. Welcome, Sky.
Thank you so much. I'm Sky Cubacub. I use they, them, and they, them, their pronouns. I'll do a quick little audio description of what I look like. I'm a small Filipinx person with makeup that looks like spiky little triangles coming out of one eye and dark blue lipstick. I'm wearing a scale mail headpiece in turquoise and purples and a little bit of pink. It looks like I have a dragon on my head. I'm wearing right now I'm wearing a sweater because it's a little bit cold out in Chicago. That is in a pink athletic mesh spandex lined with a turquoise fleece with some color blocking in black. And then I'm wearing a crop top in some holographic pinks with some sheer color blocking to show off my pliers tattoos and neon yellow trims, with some brightly color blocked overalls in lots of jewel tones and neons, as well as some custom made prints, and a chainmail. I call it meta mail, so it's like chainmail out of chainmail, creating rings out of chainmail, pink choker. And I'm sitting in the Rebirth Garments studio on a couch that's covered in a quilt that I made with custom screen print fabrics in college. The Rebirth Garments symbol, which is kind of a crystal shape in a rainbow of fabrics. And it's a shape called the Durs solid, but a fourth dimensional version of it. And then I have a bunch of Rebirth Garments clothes behind me and some patterns. So I think I wanted to show a little video of what work I've been doing lately, but first I guess I'll explain a little bit about my work. Rebirth Garments was started in 2014 when I had taken off a semester from college due to gaining a new disability where my stomach kind of stopped working properly. I could no longer wear a lot of the clothing that I had worn in the past because I just had a lot of pain in my stomach, which is also why I'm wearing overalls today, making things that are not having to be tight against my waist is a huge access need for me. I had previously only worn very tight skinny jeans all throughout high school, those trip jeans. So I could not wear that anymore. But I also have always had sensory sensitivities since I was a small child. As a neurodivergent kid, the seams in my socks and my underwear just would freak me out all throughout the day. So I ended up having to wear a lot of my socks and underwear inside out all the time when I was a kid. So yeah, when I gained this new disability, I decided that I wanted to make really soft, comfy clothes that also thought about sensory sensitivities, but was all completely custom to whatever needs that the client or model wanted, and also expressed their aesthetic preferences in a joyful and fun way. I also had been interested in creating gender affirming undergarments for myself since I was a young teenager, figuring out my gender expression and my gender identity. But I didn't have access to these gender affirming undergarments like chest binders and packing underwear because most of them were only sold in sex toy shops, which you have to be over 18 in order to go into. So I wanted to make these types of garments accessible to people. So lately, we've had a lot of youth and teen centered queer events where we've had tons of free gender affirming undergarments for people to just take. But yeah, I just also didn't really like the aesthetics of the typical gender affirming undergarments because they were pretty boring and like also not really, they weren't designed in order to be like seen or felt cute in. Really, it was like just for function and not thinking about the fact that, you know, you might take your shirt off and want to have something cute on instead of something that just looks like a medical device. So yeah, having only black and white and then like a beige color that they marketed as nude, but also wasn't affirming of everybody's skin colors. So I wanted to make really fun neon, pastels, jewel tones, chest binders, gaffs, packing underwear in order to have something that, like, yeah, you could just wear it as a crop top or just wear it as shorts and they would look cute on their own. And I tend to work in stretch fabrics so that people can, it's just like the easiest to move around in stretch fabrics in my opinion. But so I focus on undergarments, swimwear, dancewear, athletic wear, everything that you would need to, go out and have fun time dancing in your outfits, and then you can go jump in the lake and or the ocean, I guess, if you're closer to the coasts, and have fun in the water. Yeah, so I focus on that. And then last year, I was noticing how I wasn't able to do quite as much production as I had in the past, because I gained another new disability at the end of 2019 when I got mononucleosis, and it turned into the post-viral illness, chronic fatigue syndrome. So I wasn't able to, physically make things as much as I used to. And I was noticing that, it was leaving a gap in the work that I was doing. So I decided to pivot Rebirth Garments' focus into teaching youth and teens how to create their own accessible intersectional clothing lines. So we've been doing tons of that in the last year. We've had 4 fashion performances with these youth and teens, some of them participating in all 4 of them. So yeah, within a year, they created 4 whole collections, which is amazing. And yeah, so the video that I want to share today is kind of connected to that. I'm trying to create my own kids TV show. It'll be independently produced and shared on Vimeo, through the Just Femme and Dandy Vimeo, and I'm going to create a new separate Vimeo. But for now, you can look at this at the Rebirth Garments Vimeo, but here we can share it now.
It's Sky, say hi. Let's spread our wings and fly. Let's rock, let's roll. You ready? Here we go. It's Sky and the Rebirth Warriors. Our adventures will be glorious. Sky and the Rebirth Warriors. Our fashion is notorious. There's a place in me that's just like you, 'cause I got love and you got love too. There's a place in you that's just like me, 'cause we both have LOVE. Sky and the Rebirth Warriors. Our adventures will be glorious. Sky and the Rebirth Warriors. Our fashion is notorious. It's Sky, say hi. Let's spread our wings and fly. Let's rock, let's roll, and strike your favorite pose.
So that's just the trailer teaser for the upcoming kids show, Sky and the Rebirth Warriors, and it'll have a different focus every episode on different types of joyful access tools. And yeah, so at some point, hopefully next year, we'll have the pilot out. We're gonna try to do it coming out this year, but then of course, with disability, there's always crip time, needing to take some extra time to do things when they're meant to be, rather than trying to force them while I'm too sick. But yeah, so that'll be really cute, and there'll be lots of crafting and like different types of educational lessons, and lots of dancing. So yeah, keep an eye out for that. And with that, I think I'm going to get us started with our first little exercise. So I think we're going to start with the garment generator game. I'm going to put a link in the chat, but we'll also have this link available for when we post this online. We'll just put it in the description of the video. So here is a folder with the garment generator game, cards, and mini zine. So I have this here. Yeah, we'll go through it together. I'll read the instructions. I've been making clothing for half my life now, and I love inspiring others to do the same. I invented this game when I was 18 years old in order to get myself excited about drawing and to get my creativity flowing. And since creativity is the goal, there is no way to cheat in this game. This game is very much inspired by surrealist games. If you don't know a word, feel free to look it up. There is no shame in that. Also, many of the words have multiple meanings to them, so just take whatever meaning you want to. Everything is open to interpretation. Feel free to look up reference photos while sketching. You can even collage things if you don't want to draw. So I created this game because I am not a drawer. And when I was in college, they just kept on wanting me to draw my garments, and I just was like, it would be faster for me to just make it. I would rather make it than ever have to draw. So this was a way to trick myself into liking drawing. I love things like constraints to get to work within, because I feel like when you have a constraint, then it might vibe with you. You might get ideas from it and get excited about it. Or you might be like, oh, I hate that constraint. It feels so uncomfortable. I don't want to have to follow this rule. So then coming up with ways to try to push against that, I think is really interesting. Yeah, just getting to be like, do I really like this or not? And I came upon those types of constraints in college quite a lot. The school that I went to, the School of the Art Institute, just was not very informed in any sort of intersectionality, but they also, were very, just so bad about race. So their literal first assignment, like the Intro to Fashion freshman year class, their overall semester-long project was basically a cultural appropriation project. And it was awful. And I was just constantly trying to push against it and be like, this does not align with my values. And just not having anybody understanding me at the time. Now I guess they're starting to understand that that wasn't okay. So I'm glad about that. But it really did make me find my voice, because I was like, this is completely unacceptable to me, and I don't want to be perpetuating that in the clothing that I make. And I think I had always been pretty outspoken, but I think it made me so much more outspoken because the grade school and high school that I went to, they were generally very good about just about a lot of different intersectional ideas, and they were really good at telling, like encouraging all of us to speak up when when something was not sitting okay with us, and to make sure that we weren't like bystanders and weren't contributing to awful things in the world. So that's my little background about college. So we're going to go to the link that I sent. I did make a bit.ly for it. So it's bit.ly/garment generator, all lower caps, to get the cards. I actually have the original cards with me today because whenever I print the cards for real, I end up giving them away. So my cards are, you can make your own cards too. Like I just used index cards in different sizes and colors. So you can do that. So we have 3 different decks of cards. One is titled Inspiration. The second is titled Clothing Article. And the third is titled Subculture. We're going to pick a card from each of the decks. I'll pick cards for y'all at this time, but you can also just check out the cards that are available. And I know it's on the computer, so you can just like scroll through it and then like pick it with your finger. At some point, I would love to make a website where I can just have like an auto picking deal. So I'm gonna pick, one of each card. And I have updated some of the cards to include some non-clothing articles as well. I did I can't remember who it was for. Oh, I think it was for the Museum of Contemporary Art in Cleveland, for a show that that Finnegan Shannon is also in, that Finnegan Shannon curated.
Yeah, they were doing that install right when I was like bringing the work here. They were like, "I'm so busy." But it was amazing. What their piece was, like a rotating furniture thing that was awesome.
Yeah, the conveyor belt for Don't Mind If I Do. I have some of my chainmail packers riding around on it.
Yay! I love the community collaboration. Yes.
So that for that version of the garment generator game, we also put things like rollator or like cane and different types of access tools. So what I got as inspiration card was op art, and then the clothing article is underpants, and then the optional subculture is rockabilly. So what we're going to do is try to draw some op art underpants that are rockabilly. And again, you can always look up what any of these words are. I put a lot of art history terms in this game because I was 18 and really into art history and taking a million art history classes. So that's what I was interested in. But you can always create your own version of the game where you have things that you're inspired by. And you can, I've also played this game with like architecture students, and they've like changed it to be, there's like an inspiration card, and then there's like a type of building or a type of structure that they could design based off of it. So it's a very open game that can go all over the place. I'm going to show you all the different inspiration, or the different ones that I got the first time I played this game for myself. So in the middle of this, we have Art Nouveau unitard with the subculture of being hippie. So I feel like I did a pretty good job taking kind of Art Nouveau patterning and styling. And then I made it into a one piece. And then because it was hippie, I decided to put bell bottoms on it, and they have some fun like kind of go-go boots, and then some sort of headwear. So this is my Art Nouveau hippie unitard. Then there is my abstract expressionism romper with the subculture being straight edge. And I also I had like a special interest in subcultures and like how people decided like what kinds of subcultures that they would take part in or not take part in. So I kind of took the style of abstract expressionism, like lots of layering and like aggressive lines, and then made it into a little romper. And then it was all in X's because of straight edge folks having little X's on their hands.
Well, and you were under 18, so like when you go to the club back in my day, they put an X on your hands.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, there's a little X on the little.
Yeah, I saw that. I was like,
Oh.
X.
Yeah, I'm I was into it. Yeah, and I made a couple of other kind of surrealist games around the same time. I was like super into that as a teenager. Oh, and these little people, these were just tracings of my own body. Like I took pictures of myself and then traced them because I'm, yeah, again, not a drawer. So that's like a way that you can draw what they call croquis. It's just instead of having to draw like a whole new human body every time that you are sketching for fashion, designers will create what they call croquis as kind of like the model that they can just draw off of. I have a lot of problems with most croquis because they're these like kind of horrifying, quote unquote, idealized versions of people's bodies. But they don't look like people. And it forces people to have these unrealistic body standards that they could never achieve because most of them are these like 10 head high figures. So I guess in drawing, they say like a person is typically like 7 of their heads high or something like that. But they, in the fashion drawings, they like to stretch them out. But then it makes people be like, I want to look like that. And it's like, that's truly impossible. Like you can be smaller than that, of course, but you can't really be a 10 head high person.
No, like a 14-hand horse. Sky, when you make your croquis, is it like you get a picture of yourself and then you cut like almost like cut out your body so you have like a template of your shape, or how do you make that actually? I'm
Yeah, that's a great way. I actually
I just made that up.
No, I love that. I'm gonna steal that. I'm gonna
You can have that.
That down. Yeah, because I have a light box. So I would take the picture and then put it on the light box and then put the paper over it and trace it. But I know people don't necessarily have access to that. Sometimes I'll do that with my computer. I'll like pull up just a white screen and then I'll use my computer screen as a light box.
Yeah.
You can do it against a window on a sunny day. But that's a really great, much more accessible way. You can also get tracing paper, so then you don't necessarily need a whole fancy box of light. The tracing paper is actually like, yeah, used a lot in fashion sketches. So that's like pretty fun to work with. If you don't have tracing paper, maybe you can use like wax paper. I feel like that's a little bit more see-through, and some people might have that more in their kitchens. But yeah, in high school, I would just take, whenever I'd make clothing for my friends to wear, I would always take a picture of them just like in kind of a simple pose, and then I would trace them and I do my sketches on that. And then it would always turn out to be more exact, like my sketch would look more like what was actually made and then worn, because it wasn't trying to do this weird thing where it's changing proportions in a wild way. But yeah, you can also like take magazines. I mean, magazines aren't very representative of people, but it's getting a little bit better, and you can like collage on top of them. Or like, yeah, old old books. I think I used a lot of like old science books because I like their illustrations, and I would cut those out and then use those as like I would like paste them on top of people's bodies and then be like, oh, I want to make something that looks like this weird science illustration of like, you know, germs. And then, but then you can also get really wild with this for this one. You can't really see it, but I had gotten the inspiration of Fluxus, and I got the clothing article jeans, and then I just didn't do a subculture for that one. So the surrealists and Fluxus folks are very similar. And I just looked in the like Fluxus prompt book and flipped through it and then put my finger on a prompt. And for Fluxism, it's like very performance art based, but they would be like, here's some different prompts of something that you can do. And sometimes it was called a happening when you do one of these prompts. So I got one that said, set an alarm clock in front of an audience, have an alarm clock installed, draw an alarm clock in front of an audience, have an alarm clock installed, and then when the alarm sound plays, erase the drawing. So I drew a pair of jeans that looked like an alarm clock, and then I set an alarm, and then when the alarm clock sounded, then I erased it. So it's like you can get weird with the prompts, and they can become performance art in themselves in the act of drawing them. So my mom was a professional dancer and does all sorts of performance, and then my dad also did like performance art type things. So that's always something very close to my heart and something that I've always connected with my fashion in different ways. Now I do more, dance-based type things, but I was all over the place doing all sorts of different types of performance art with my fashions. And so I really like that example of something that you can do with this game. I'm gonna pick some other cards for y'all to come up with some outfits. Ooh, this is a really good combo. Okay, so the inspiration is trains. The subculture is steampunk, which like goes real well with trains. But then the clothing article is chaps. So love that. Very excited
Awesome.
to see that.
Right.
Yeah, right. That's a really good combo. Wow. I'll give you all.
How did you come up with all of your box of props?
Yeah, I mean, I did like tons of art history ones, but then I was like, oh, I should have some ones that are like more simple or just like things, so that it might be more accessible to people. Some of them are like Chicago as a prompt, because I'm like, I live in Chicago and people love to make things inspired by Chicago. But I also have like the universe and cars, trains. So you can really, I mean, you can be inspired by literally anything. So any objects that you see around you, you can be like, okay, I want to make a garment based off of a cup, like, and then you're like, oh, is it like a Lee Bowery, it's a little a dress that is like a hoop skirt, but then when the people are dancing in the Michael Clark company, they pop it up and then it looks like a teacup. Or is it a dress that has like cup like receptacles, so then you can keep things in it, like big pockets that are just more structured. Or uh or are you like, oh, I want to make basically something that is like a camelback, like you can store actual liquid in it and then drink from it. So you can, yeah, take so many different things from anything. I'll give you another. Okay, yeah, here's. Okay, so the next one should be inspired by movies. So it could be movies as a whole, or it can be a specific movie, or yeah, or just like the concept of movies, like being like, oh yes, pictures that are in rapid succession, that create movement for your eyeballs to watch. Pants. So yeah, pants that are inspired by the movies, or it can be, yeah, the act of going to the movies. So, you know, you could create pants that can hold all of your snacks, smuggle them in so that you don't have to pay for the expensive movie snacks. Unless you're at a small independent movie theater, then you should buy all the snacks from them. But if you're at AMC or something, whatever, smuggle it all in your pants. And then the subculture is raver, which might go really well with smuggling snacks in your pants, because lots of ravers have those really wide-legged pants.
Right, and the cargo pockets.
Yeah, and maybe if you look like a wild raver, maybe they'll be less likely to search you. So they'll be like, there's so much going on here. And you can, I mean, you can do just the pants, but you can also do like a whole look. Like you could have the platform shoes with whole compartments in them for your popcorn. Okay. Oh, okay. This next one. Okay, this will be really funny. Uh, a very funny combo. Sometimes you get combos that you're like, what? what could this possibly be? So the inspiration is Renaissance or Renaissance. And then the clothing article is bra. So a Renaissance bra. It's like, cool, interesting. And then the subculture is bro. Who knows? Gotta make a bro bra.
I know. I was like, I started to sketch something as you were talking, and then you said bro, and I was like, oh my gosh.
I mean, you can also take or leave, you know, parts of it. Like if you get really connected to just 2 words from it, that's fine. Like, yeah. Is
So
it
from these prompts, are you in your mind thinking about combos to pull from your closet, or are you physically sketching out, you know, like I started to do like a Madonna cone shaped, you know, kind of, you know, bra situation, and then with bro, that threw me off. But how are you, like, you know, like what's your process to, like, you know, from the idea to the execution?
Yeah, I mean, you can do it any of these ways. Like this game was made so that it would trick me into like drawing. So it was for drawing to begin with, but you can also go into your closet and then try to come up with outfits that look like this, or you can actually just go straight to making it. I keep on wanting to do this with my kids and teens, like doing a show that's just based off of the garment generator game and have people fully make the outfits from the prompts. So yeah, I keep on wanting to do that, but we'll see when that happens. Yeah, I can show you all some examples of past ones, because I've done this with a lot of like colleges and stuff, and with kids, and it's pretty fun. Oh yeah, here's like a Madonna cone shape bra type thing. I think that one was, oh yeah, it was a rockabilly bra based off of the universe. So I think there's some little planets on it. And then I think, oh, these shorts are pop star bro shorts. I really like this drawing.
That's a good bro short.
Yeah. Good bro short. Oh, this one was like bustle and architecture. I think it's very beautiful.
That's a skirt and a one arm top.
It's just two different bustles,
Oh, okay.
like the little butt padding things.
Mhm.
Oh, here's another. This was all the same class, bro short pop stars. I think they were thinking about Taylor Swift or something.
The Swifters.
Yeah, I don't know.
Swifties.
Oh, here's the teacher's drawing, Rockabilly Bra Universe. So it can also just be a full drawing. Like, it's very, I really like these. Oh my God, there were so many Swifties in this class.
Oh, shake it off. Mhm.
Ooh, yeah. Bro shorts, rock stars. I really like these drawings.
That's great. How old are the class doing this?
I think that they were sophomores in college,
Okay.
but they were all going to be like art teachers, like high school art teachers.
That's great.
I know, right? Super fun. We also, that same class, I had us do an exquisite corpse version. So here are some of them. So we would do like the inspiration and subculture, and then we would pick like something that would go on your head, and then something that would go on your midsection, and then something that would go on your bottoms/feet.
Three distinct, like different cultures in one.
Yeah. Yeah, I think this was like hippie, steampunk, something or another, and this was like raver. I can't remember what raver shoes. I don't know. Oh yeah, here's another one.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, so you can, make it into a game that you can play with friends, or you can make it into or you can just play alone. Oh yeah, here I wrote it right here. So you can do it with a friend where you take turns drawing different parts of an outfit, just as a fun game with no competition. Very often our best ideas come from being creative, not by ourselves, but with our friends, talking and playing and building new ideas together. If you do it in a group, each person can take turns picking cards, and then everyone draws their own version. So that's what we did in the college class. If you want it to be a competition, you can play it like the game Apples to Apples, where each person takes turns being a judge and picking cards. In this case, probably everyone needs to have the same drawing utensils so that you aren't just like, ah, yes, this markers person is that person. And then maybe time yourselves to give yourself just like a minute or two to draw really fast. Sometimes I do the timing thing, and sometimes it's like, it's just an open-ended thing. And then, yeah, you can do it in exquisite corpse style. And yeah, feel free to give yourself different constraints. If it helps you to have the time limit, you can do it, but you don't have to. The more you play, the more you will understand your strengths and preferences. So yeah, so that's the garment generator game. I hope y'all have fun with it. Yeah, create your own cards, but you can also look at the cards that I have created. And we'll post these prompts with the video, so then you can look at them for a while instead of just while I'm shouting it out real fast. So
I think it'd also be a nice fun game for folks to also like create their own, like, you know, 1, 2, 3s, like their own subculture, their own, you know, because that's a whole other game in itself. I feel like too, that's really fun.
Ooh, yeah, that would be so great. At my high school, one of my the people that I taught later on, who was younger, taught a class. There's at the high school I went to, on Wednesdays there were like fun classes, because it's like a super academic school, and they were like, we can't do 5 days of super academic school because the kid, like, yeah, all the teens are already having a lot of
Burnout.
Yeah, they're all so burnt out and just feeling too wild. So yeah, each teacher kind of had their own like fun class that they could teach, and that didn't have homework. And when I was there, it was only half day, and then we just had the rest of the half day to leave and do more homework at home. But they started doing it sometimes where they would teach it with one of the students. And my friend Nathan Nyes did a whole, we call them colloquiums. And they did a colloquium all about subcultures. So like, yeah, people were kind of creating their own subcultures in that. And I loved that so much. I'm like obsessed. So yeah, I think I was literally just thinking about something like that yesterday, like being like, I want to create my own. I mean, I think I have created my own subculture of like radical visibility, but just thinking about like ones for fun and different types of personas. Yeah, and you can do this also as like makeup prompts. Like, you know, I like to do really fun makeup, and I feel like more and more people have been doing that too. So you could be like, oh, I want to do some bro Renaissance makeup. Like, what is that gonna look like? Or
I double dog dare you to try that next time under your eye.
yes, yes.
Some bro Renaissance.
Ooh, oh, here, yeah. Okay, this is what punk futurism makeup. That sounds cool. I mean, futurism is sometimes messed up because they were like kind of fascists. But if you take futurism separate from that idea of awful fascism, they had cool aesthetics. So yeah. Yeah, maybe we'll transition into our other game. So I need to make more space. 1 second. Great. Okay, you'll see more of my studio. Okay, so next game, or yeah, do you want to share any of your drawings that you did?
Oh, I sketched badly. I did it in pencil. I don't know if you could even see that. Maybe there it goes.
Oh yeah.
My form, and then I was beginning the bro bra, the bro renaissance bra. But I was sitting here more thinking also like what I have in my closet to make this, like that Madonna bra was so iconic that I was like, how would I construct that? How would I attach it to my body? How would I, so all that is very fun.
Oh yeah, I just realized that. I mean, I said that you can take also words to have different meanings. So the Renaissance could be the art history movement, or you can be like, oh, just the idea of a Renaissance, like, a time of enlightenment and new things. Or you can be like Beyonce Renaissance tour.
Right.
Whatever you want. I don't
Beehive.
Okay, so now we have, here, I'll put another link in the chat. Copy link. This has the garment generator game again, but without the cards, it's just the zines. But it also has these two little mini zines, creative dressing exercise 1, draping. That's what we're going to be doing. But you can also check out the Rework Garments Hack Your Wardrobe part 2 of creative dressing exercise. This one involves cutting into your outfits. So, but you can think about it if you like that, if you want to chop into things, but we're going to do this one for now. the light pink one. Okay, so I'm wearing some tight overalls so that I can put things on top of me. This is always a little fun to try to do. Need more room. Okay, so the point of this exercise is to get your head out of the box of like, oh, a shirt has to be worn in this specific way. I feel like so many people are like, yeah, this is the way I wear a shirt. I have my arms in the armholes, got my head in the head hole, and then just my body straight up and down, whatever. This is the only way you're allowed to wear a shirt. But there's not actually, like, clothing doesn't inherently have rules to them. We might have rules in our schools or our work for like clothing dress codes, but clothing in it of itself does not have rules. So I want us to think about these pieces of clothing more as just shapes, and sometimes I'll just think of it as like found object and be like, coming from found object sculpture making background, like how can I put this together to have a totally different look to it. So one of my favorite things is to take a long sleeve shirt, and I'm gonna put my legs through the sleeves. And yeah, this works. It's different for different size garments. Like you don't have to use garments that'll like fit you. You can have garments that are much bigger than you, or they can be garments that are like way too small for you, and that's okay. Like we're just seeing them as pieces of fabric that are cool shapes. So I'm putting my legs through the armholes, and then I have my body here. There's the little neck hole here, but that's okay because people wear skirts all the time. So then I just kind of fold this over, and then I roll down the what would be the bottom of the shirt, and then create some fun, weird drop crotch pants. out of a long sleeve shirt. And it's extra fun if it's a fun pattern. This is a shirt from Paws here in Chicago. They have really good stuff. And I prefer to work with like stretchy clothes in this, just because you can stretch it around your body in different ways. But you can do this also with non-stretch clothes. But I feel like at this point, most people have a lot of stretchy clothes. It's most common. But yeah, I love styling stuff like this. If you want, you can throw in a little safety pin if you're worried that it's gonna.
I was gonna ask, like, would you go out without any kind of like reinforcement in case, you know?
Yeah, I mean, you can just do it.
The Chicago wind may get you, you know, on the.
Yeah, like I don't need to roll it down necessarily. Like you could just do this and then throw in a safety pin, and then be like, cool. It's like has a little wrap element to it. Which, yeah, actually, I think I have some wrap dresses that I can do fun things with. So yeah, there's one. Another thing you can do with like a button-down shirt. I like to make a little skirt out of a button-down shirt. Let me grab it. Well, mine's actually a snap-down shirt because I like making snappy shirts. For accessibility. So yeah, I have this little shirt here. I'm gonna snap it all open. And then I'm gonna actually put this around my waist. And you can either, yeah, snap it just up to wherever it'll like stay up on you. But I like to make it asymmetrical. So I'm gonna, yeah, you don't have to, you know, when you button up a shirt and you button it up wrong, like you can just use that idea and button things up wrong or snap things up wrong, or yeah, quote unquote wrong on purpose. So yeah, now I have this little skirt. It's a little bit asymmetrical. It kind of has a bit of a deconstructed feel, and you can like have the arms out if you're like, oh, I want the arms to be seen as arms still, because that's kind of fun. Or like sometimes I'll tie the arms in the back, create like a tiny little bow with the with the arms, or like a bustle type thing. So yeah, skirt ideas. You can also like be like, oh, I want to twist these arms around me.
I'm surprised mine fit around my hips. I mean, yeah, that was a miracle for. I have a button down here, but yeah, it is a wearable skirt. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so with the focus on disabled bodies, and you know that maybe possible like wheelchair users or people that have, you know, different sized limbs, how do you take in account, you know, like different shaped bodies? How does that play?
I mean, that's the perfect thing about this, is that
Yes.
you're just using yourself as like an armature to build fashion off of. So literally, yeah, you can be any type of shape and have different types of limbs and just like work with that. You can also work with sometimes I have people see what like, yeah, like, oh, is this now more restrictive to you, or is this more freeing to you, and what could you take from that to make clothing more accessible? Like when I was in college, I was always draping on my own body to create my looks, and all the other students would make fun of me because I was the only one doing that. But they would be building off of these mannequins, and then the people that they'd try to put it on like couldn't, like it'd be so uncomfortable because they weren't taking into account the movement of a human body. Or like, yeah, you need to be able to sit down or you need to be able to open your legs more than a foot at a time.
Right.
Things like that. One person, yeah, they draped something with the arm totally closed, which is fine if a person doesn't have an arm, but they also draped the head closed, and I'm like, that's the one thing we all have is a head. We could have literally any other parts missing, but we all have heads. Like, what are you doing? I don't understand.
Maybe the eye hole was down below at the chest, or you know.
No, it was just like, I don't even know what they were doing. So yeah, and with button-down shirts are actually like kind of the best, because you can take a bunch of different button-down shirts and you can button them to each other and create big pieces.
Cool.
Yeah. And you can like button down parts of it and like have parts of it open still, so then you can have extra holes in that sheet. There's a couple of designers, I can't remember right now. Maybe it was Comme des Garçons. I can't remember because I feel like I emptied my head out of some fashion knowledge because I was like, it's not what I'm interested in. Maybe it was Margiela. I don't know. Where they basically had like a bunch of dresses all connected to each other, and then you could just keep on putting it on. Like, you'd put on the dress and then you'd put it on again and again. It was just like, but then you could unroll it and it was like a long thing of just a bunch of dresses put together. But yeah, it was like sheer, so you can like see the layers of sheerness, but then you could also like, yeah, probably put it on in different ways. I think, yeah, my old collaborator Compton Q actually made a couple of fun garments based off of that idea too. So yeah, super fun.
Other kinds of clothes that you really like to use for layering or wrapping, like, I don't know, the famed pashmina of all the different kind of ways to, you know, we've all seen the thing of like, where there's 4 different ways. But really, you know, is there something that you've really enjoyed using as a tool for layering, or like a base design, if you're kind of like coming in, you know, like novice, like what do you recommend the most?
I mean, yeah, definitely the button downs, but you can also use like zipper things, like if the zippers match in style, you can zip different types of garments together, just as long as it's the same like size zipper. Just be careful that you don't accidentally like be like, I'm forcing this together. But yeah, if you have like the same zip down hoodie or something, you can in different colors, you can attach those together. An easy one, I'm going to take off my headpiece so you'll see my naked head. It's just hard to do all the things sometimes with it on. Like a very easy thing, you can have a racerback tank top. You can do something as simple as wearing it backwards. I wear a lot of my clothing backwards just because I really like higher necklines. Especially when I was younger, I would get like kind of uncomfortable with a lower neckline because I was just like I just didn't like showing off my chest at all. Oh dang, I don't know where. I think I have it over there. So you can do something as simple as that to change the neckline. This is kind of a goofy long tank top. You can do putting both straps on one side. Right?
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah, right? Look, now I have a little like black mini dress that's like
little bell. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. You can, then do it again and create like a crisscross type thing. Another kind of mini dress look. Here I have it as a little crop too. So depending on like the length of the straps, you can create like a keyhole type shape. Yeah, tank tops are good for playing with. Or yeah, anything with lots of straps. You can just strap it around in any sort of way. This is I just like made a copy of a loose t-shirt that I had cut the sleeves off of. I was trying to find that, but I couldn't find it. But this is kind of like a little dress then. Because sometimes I like to put my head hole or my head through an armhole and then my arm through the head hole and create like a kind of a drapey look. Can drape it in different ways. Like if you want it to just be this, like you can get a little Grecian look going, or you can have it go over your arm more, and you might not be able to use this arm as well, but this looks kind of 80s, like the styles of the times then. And then you have a little side hole. And yeah, you might be like, this is a weird side hole, but I like this shape. So then you could make something based off of that idea, like on purpose. It's going to be this kind of drapery, but then I'm going to get rid of that side hole because it's too floppy in a weird way. Or you can like tighten it up to make it like make more sense. Oh, I've seen people do this a lot, taking just like a pair of their like little underwears, and like I can't remember. I think it was just like this. It's funny with this overalls, but you can have just like a little side thing. You can put two pairs, so then you have like a crisscross crop top, super crop situation.
Yeah, I was thinking that. I was like, well, the other side.
Yeah. Oh yeah, let me grab this vest that like started it all. Okay, this is so, well, I made a copy of the vest that started it. So there was a vest that was like this shape that I liked, but oh, sorry.
Bless you.
I like the shape of, but I, yeah, didn't necessarily want this to be the front. So I started wearing this vest backwards, and I really liked, for me personally, like with my aversion up to like lower necklines, I liked this shape in the front, but then I loved how this looked in the back. That is a nice like kind of plunging back line. And now I've actually made a bunch of shirts like with this type of back, because I've been working on a full back tattoo, so I want to make things that show it off.
There you go. And
yeah.
are you sewing these, or is this like a no sew thing, or like how are you fabricating these garments?
Yeah, this one, well, all those other ones were just mostly stuff that I had. This is based off of a vest, or like, yeah, it's pretty much a copy of a vest that just was like store-bought, but then I was like, oh, I want to make a version where it's supposed to be worn this way with this in the back, and then I did it in this like fun fabric. There's not really any rules for copying garments because they're like a functional item. But when I do like, yeah, rip the like silhouettes from things, I'll do it in a fun fabric. And like, yeah, I mean, I mostly just do it for myself. for fun.
Sky, can I pop in and ask a question real quick?
Of course.
So I noticed that like well, first of all, I love seeing like the different creative ways that you reuse and wear garments differently and looking at clothes like in a creative way. But I wanted to know if and how sustainability kind of plays into your practice, and if like secondhand clothing and the recycling of clothing and that kind of reducing your carbon footprint is something that you value in your practice, or something that you consider, just kind of like how that works.
Yeah, that's the perfect thing about this exercise, is like just taking things from your closet already and wearing them in different ways, so then you don't have to buy new things. And yeah, it might be things that you were thinking of throwing away or getting rid of, but you can find a new way to wear it that you might love so much that you're like, oh, I can keep on using this, like just because it's slightly the wrong size now, or because it's not really my style in the way that it's typically worn, doesn't mean that can't wear it in a new way and then actually like, yeah, give it a second life. Yeah, you can go to thrift stores and get garments specifically for this if you want. For Rebirth Garments, I do all spandex clothing, which I know is not sustainable, but I am more part of like the slow fashion movement of like, you're just getting like a couple of very custom made things specifically to your body. You're not supposed to get a whole wardrobe from me, really. Although I have like two people who have a ton of clothing from me, but one of them is my photographer, so we just do it through trades. But yeah, so I'm more into slow fashion, and then like, yeah, paying my employees, you know, a fair amount, so that it's not, yeah, done under basically slave labor, like so much of the clothing is these days, and for always. But yeah, this is definitely the part of my practice where, with the creative dressing game, where I want people to be just taking from their own closets already and coming up with new creative ways to do dressing with it. But you can also like cut into those garments if you're like, I can't figure out something that I like this garment to be. You can cut into it and like sew it together with other things. I used to, yeah, my skinny trip jeans that I used to wear a lot, like if one leg started getting really messed up, or I had lots of holes in the crotches of my jeans because I was a cyclist, so I was always like splicing together old jeans, and like, yeah, not buying new ones. I would just like try to combine them all until they could be a pair of jeans that worked again. I even did that thing where you like slice together one side from one and one of the other, which is like pretty fun to do. Yeah, so that's kind of my answer to that.
Thank you. I know that sustainability, it has a long way to go in terms of accessibility, especially financial accessibility. So I like that you touched on fair wages and that kind of stuff within your practice. So yeah, thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, fair wages, and then I try to keep the prices of the garments as low as possible, and I'll like, oh, what's the word? Subsidize the garments with grants and other modes of making money, like doing lectures and stuff. That this helps to like subsidize the garments, because I haven't paid myself for years at this point. It just goes into the clothing line and goes into like free garments for folks who need them. And then yeah, lots of the like the gender affirming compression garments. I know there's a couple of folks who, or yeah, there's one brand I can't remember their name right now, that does all cotton ones, but I haven't really been able to source a compression material that is not petroleum oil based. It's pretty hard, but it might also be that I'm just like, you know, too small of a business. Like, you know, some businesses, they can have access to so much more types of materials because they can pay for bolts and bolts and, you know, hundreds of yards of fabric at a time. But I pretty much, the most I really buy at a time is like 5 yards of a fabric at a time. So I can't even get wholesale prices. For my compression material, I will buy a 50-yard bolt, but that is like, I'll do that like once a year and then be like, oh gosh, that was so expensive. But yeah, does anybody want to share any kind of creative dressing that they've done? I know there's only a couple.
Listen, and Kendall from versus Arlington. No, but I had another question of just like thinking about like walking into Joanne Fabrics, like, you know, I mean, like I'm base level, you know, fashion person, primarily do shopping, like, you know, at thrift stores. But, you know, if I wanted to undertake like, you know, wrapping or actually like making a something and using the kind of guides of, you know, either like soft texture cloth or spandex, like, you know, walking into just Joanne Fabrics, like what would be your advice, you know, as to like, you know, how to pick a fabric, or you know, like the feel of it, the dexterity of it, how it will fit your body, all that.
Well, with spandexes, I usually try to go for like thicker ones that seem sturdier. The first ones that I got were from Joann's when I was in high school, and they were pretty flimsy and then wore out pretty fast. But then I mostly get spandex from a place called Spandex World.
What do you know? Right?
Although I actually, the place that I recommend most, if you like have little more money, is buying from Spoonflower, because Spoonflower, you can get all sorts of different fun prints. You can make custom made prints. The way that they print on them requires a lot less water waste than most other traditional printing ways, but also they try to pick fabrics that are sturdy and good and high quality, but also more sustainable than other companies. Although I know that Spoonflower is going through like maybe like a CEO change or something right now. I don't know, something not the best happening there, but that's where I typically recommend people if they have a little more money to spend on stuff, because I feel like it is the most kind of sustainable fabric option besides just going to thrift stores and getting stuff to like chop up and turn into other things. My friend Emma Alamo, who has like a leather harness company, when they started, they were just getting leather jackets from thrift stores and cutting them up and then turning them into harnesses. And then, but Joann's, if you have those coupons, that's good. But
Right.
I'm not very good at I don't go there as often for actual fabrics. I mostly go there for like notions when I'm like in a pinch. I'll get some thread there and stuff like that. But I just try to pick things that feel more sturdy and feel like they might last more. And natural fibers are more lasting generally than not, with the exception of like things like silk, which I know is an animal protein, but it's like, more natural than spandex and other oil-based stuff. But yeah, silk is not good because the fibers themselves are triangular, so they will cut each other over time. Just even if they're just like laying flat, the pressure of the triangular fibers will just slice each other in half.
Oh no, didn't. So my silk skirt that I have on is like, will ultimately just fade into existence. Okay.
Yeah, I know in like religious, what are they called? I don't know. They have the little artifacts in churches and stuff. They have huge problems with like the, beautiful silk from hundreds of years ago. It's like they'll preserve it as best they can, but it just will like literally start having just shredding from nothing over time, just from the pressure of them sitting against each other. So yeah, it's like cotton is great, but then you also have to think about like the source of the cotton and like having organic cotton rather than cotton that has had so much chemicals. But then there's also things like rayon that's technically a natural fiber, but it comes from trees, like the actual wood of trees is what rayon is. So if you think about what the process must be in order to make a tree become a very soft fabric, it's like just beating it to death with a lot of chemicals. So yeah, it's very hard to figure out what the best way of sustainability and fabric choices is. But yeah, so I think generally trying to just use things that are in your own closet or from thrift stores or that friends were like gonna throw away is the most sustainable. Yeah, I think we have just a little bit of time left, but if there's other questions, I'd love to answer them.
Oh, good. Thank you. Yeah. And I do have, I don't know if you want to show your last video before we close and then like any plugs, but I do have one question more on like your practice. So, I know what you do, but like for your like fashion performance moments, how are you thinking about like what's driving your, conceptual themes or like type or tile or shape of clothes that you're making? Like what's driving that for you?
Yeah, I mean, well, actually that goes perfectly with the video that I want to show, because basically most of my inspiration comes from my models and clients and doing interviews with them. So yeah, this video shows what the typical process is with every single model that I work with, and then any clients who want to, because some clients, they don't want to, they just want to put in some of their measurements and run away and be like, okay, make the thing. I don't want to think about it.
Thank you.
Yeah. But yeah, this is where I get almost all of my inspiration from is these types of interviews. So this is a video of the typical, the interview that I always do with all the questions that I ask, but it's also something that I want people to think about for themselves. So when you're hearing the questions, think about your answers to those questions and how those can inform your designs. And so you can play that video.
What are your favorite colors and patterns?
Oh, I love bright neon colors. With my drag persona, I always say that I am Chicago's premier fat trans crippled gutter slut.
Yes.
So, I mean, anything that you would think of that goes along those lines is kind of like 80s trash queen.
Are you ready for this?
Oh, there's a little flashing right now. Sorry.
Are you ready for this visual description? Are you ready for this vocal transcription?
Bright patterns, textures, things that you'd usually find on some kind of weird avant-garde runway that's usually limited to thin people.
What do you feel vulnerable about but want to show off in this context?
I have chest dysphoria from this alien feeling where like there's 2 boobies there, but I feel like there should be 3.
Yeah.
And we talked about the possibility of making something that would give me a 3rd one.
Yeah.
I would die to have that.
What would show off your gender expression best?
Well, I really like your clothing in the ways that you are able to add to people's bodies with the way that you sew things. I like things that are going to give me more of this alien aesthetic.
What would make clothing more accessible to your body?
I really love high-waisted things, but one problem I have is they have to be big enough to get over my butt.
Yeah.
But then the waist part has to be tight enough
to
where
stay up.
it's not going to be baggy in the back and stay at the right place.
Mhm.
And so that I've just kind of conceded to the fashion world because I don't know of a way to actually do that.
Comes the excess.
Excess bitch. We'll call you out, call you up, make sure you're about those excess needs. Excess bitch. We'll call
Can I ask you some questions about how you feel?
Sure.
How do you feel in these clothes?
I feel very seen and I feel very comfortable. So I'm not only comfortable, but I'm very cute, which usually isn't a combination that I find. Usually if I'm comfortable, I'm wearing things that I would prefer not to leave my house in. And if I'm cute, then I'm just not comfortable and I suck it up.
Oh, and all the music from that video is from my collaborative collective, Radical Visibility Collective. Here, let me. You can see the Radical Visibility Collective shows on my Vimeo. They're collectively designed by me, Jake Fogues, and Compton Q. And then Jake Fogues is the executive producer of the music from that. And we created, they created music based off of my manifesto, Radical Visibility, a Queer Crip Dress Reform Movement, but also have lyrics from the interviews with the models, so that where we also asked them to give us a description of themselves, so that it would be audio descriptive music. So I really love all of the songs from Radical Visibility Collective, and then our second collection, RVC2, and you should check out those videos because they are the most fun.
Awesome. And so I'll get those links from you, and we'll put them in the full after wrap up package with this recording too, so folks can engage and enjoy.
Yeah.
And what else is going on for you next? Plug. How can we support you? What are you doing? What are you passionate about for your upcoming stuff?
Yeah, I guess I'm mostly just trying to focus on these, like, these youth and teen lessons. I have a couple of different links on, or like ways to donate on my website so that it can subsidize the lessons, because I do a lot of the lessons are for free or very subsidized, so that can be accessible for folks. Yeah, I have a little bit of a break from some things. I just had a bunch of big shows that just happened. So I think right now I'm mostly doing a couple of lectures, and I'm in an intensive outpatient program right now. So I'm just trying to take a break and focus on my mental health. But yeah, if anybody ever wants me to come lecture or to give a workshop with their organization or school or club or whatever, hit me up. I am always down. I love doing these. I think that they're really fun and I like to meet people.
Yeah, I had a good time. Now I have my cool giraffe button down shirt as a possible skirt.
Yes.
I'm excited about that. Awesome. Well, again, we're gonna wrap up soon, but I wanted to thank you for hanging out with us and sharing all your cool stuff and ways and opportunities to reimagine our closet. So I'm sure you'll get some questions as folks watch the recording, which has been great. And lastly, just wanted to reshare the things that are happening at Mason Exhibitions Arlington for the remainder of Disrupt and Resist. And so on November 4th, we're going to be doing again Arlington Weaves, which is a local Arlington nonprofit. They are artists that learn how to weave 100% of what they sell and make, and they're like gorgeous tapestries and textiles. Go back to the artists. All the artists also identify as folks with disabilities. So we're doing a loom table weaving workshop and also some probably paper weaving for those who aren't as adventurous. So come hang out with us then. That's from 12 to 2 on November 4th. This is all in person at the gallery. And then following the weaving workshop, we will load right into our Disability Film Festival from 2 to 4. We'll be featuring 3 films illustrating Sam Newton. One titled called Imagining. These are all primarily shorts. And then lastly, we'll be showing living art. And the artist Mara Clausen lives locally in Maryland, so close to the gallery. So she'll be coming with possibly the director to have a little Q&A and hang with us. So that should be really great to see and then be able to hear from the artist directly. And then lastly, we'll be doing if I could find it quickly, a zine workshop with Jen White Johnson, one of the artists that are in the show, and also the co-curator of this exhibition. So we're partnering with a gallery in Washington, D.C. called Art Enables. They are again on theme with the exhibition. All the artists identify as folks with disabilities, and so we'll be doing open to the public, open to all folks, all ages, workshop from 11 to 3 on November 11th up in DC. So come hang out with us. We have lots going on. Up next, we'll be having an exhibition opening on November 16th with School of Art faculty alumni Brian K. Davis, who's doing this reconciliation disco movement, sound, video, audio, big speaker moving around the space. So really excited for what we have coming up next, and invite you again to come hang out with us. Again, we're open from 12 to 5 Thursday through Saturday, and if you need any questions or anything, I'll put my email in chat, but we have an accessibility guide on the very first thing that you will see when you come down to the Disrupt and Resist page. So you can advance your plans to visit us before you come. I think that's it. We had a great time.
Thank you all so much. And you can find my work at rebirthgarments.com. You can follow me on Instagram at rebirthgarments. Sometimes I put it on private and sometimes not. So if I'm not accepting your request, then just email me at rebirth.garments@gmail.com. And then you can check out I think there's 90 free tutorial videos through my program at the Chicago Public Library that I created called Radical Fit. It's a queer DIY fashion program, but we have tutorials about makeup and hair and pattern making, sewing, making your own chest binder, like all over the place, all sorts of things. I'll put the link in the chat, but it's bit.ly/radical fit playlist with each word radical fit playlist capitalized just at the beginning. It is case sensitive, but that's a great place to find more free tutorials by me and by amazing other artists that I curated.
Fantastic. Yeah, all the plugs. Cool. Well, we support all of this. I had so much fun, and I know thank you for hanging out with us today. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thanks, you.
Thanks, Kai. Have a great day. All right. Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.